Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Diane and I hope you're all okay. So let's get to it. Hi guys, today I'm going to be kind of jumping on the Daniel Cooper bandwagon. He's been making resin putty kind of thing with either 2-part resin or 2-part epoxy resin or polyurethane resin, and he even did it with UV resin. But I thought, what about if we tried doing it with silicone rubber? So today we're going to have a play and see if we can make some silicone rubber like clay kind of stuff for moulding. And I've got my cornflower, and see if we can do the same thing, because I'm going to try and make some. I'll just bring a few of these in a mould just to try and see if we can mould these, some cogs and things into it. So let's get to it. Right, so first things first, we need to weigh up the silicone rubber. So turn on my scales. I'm not going to make a massive amount up, because as you can see I don't have a lot left and I don't want to waste it, because this is good stuff. So measure part A first. Let's see what we can get. So let's just put, let's do 25 grams of each. Go. So that's 25 of that one, so we'll tear that and add 25 of part B. So I thought about it, as this takes quite a while, it means I messed up and put it all in here. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to still make this into a putty, just not in separate pots and mixing it together. I can try that again afterwards, but what I am going to do is I'm still going to mix in the cornflower and see if we can make a putty out of it like this, because it does take quite a while to set up this anyway, so it's not going to be a bust. So I've been mixing this quite a while, so now I just need a spoon. Let's just get a stick. A stirry stick will do, because yeah, one of these will do. So what we'll do is just put a blob of it in each time and see how we go. Seems to be mixing in really nice, and it really is amazing how much goes into this. It's really still liquid. What I need to do is get a better stick, because this one's a bit small. I'll grab another one of these sticks. Just go and pull that down as well. Right, as that's starting to get quite thick now, it's not quite ready for rolling out or anything yet. But what I'm going to do is I've got one of these baking sheets. I think they're Teflon coated baking sheets. I do work on a Teflon sheet, non-stick sheet, but I don't want it, just on the off chance it does stick to that stuff, I don't want it sticking to my work surface. So what we're going to do is get some flour, pretend it's dough. And if this doesn't work, I'll be saying dough all right. Good old Homer Simpson. Okay, so I'm just going to work this in. Just going to stick some on the top of it. Start kneading it in, I think. Oops, sticks to your fingers well, that's for sure. Right, now it's starting to form like a dough. So we're getting there now. Very messy, but kind of fun. That's nice and malleable now and not sticking to my hands anymore. So what I'm going to do is just put a little bit of flour on the lid of the tub a minute while I just get this mat cleaned up, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so nice and clean now. Probably won't be for much longer, but let's get them bits off there. Right, I'll clean that lid up in a bit, in a little while. So I'm just going to get a bit of a knead. Get it into a rough ball shape. And then a tiny bit of flour on top of it, I think. Around it. So it does seem to like sticking a little bit. That's fine. And I can't find my polymer clay rolling pin, so mould release spray can it is. We'll roll it out a bit. Oops. Oh dear. Try that again. I'm not going to turn it over because it does seem to like to stick to this Teflon sheet. Not sticking to it as in that it won't come off, but just sticking to it enough that it's just going to be irritating to take off. Right, so that'll roll out there. So I'm going to put lollipop sticks, 2 on each side. Okay, so that seems pretty even. So now what we're going to do is try and get all my cogs and that was I've picked out. And then I'm just going to lay them, just pop them on top. I'm not pushing them in, just sitting them on the top a moment. So now what I'm going to do is get my rolling pin again. She says rolling pin. And then just gently roll over the top of these. And back. So, there we go, that's those. Gonna give it a bit of a trim up. Won't be very tidy, but well, I think I'll just trim it up afterwards. So I can't remember how long this takes to set, so we'll be back once it's set up and see how they turn out and give them a test. See you shortly. Just so you can see, there was 50 grams of the silicone rubber all together, if the two parts put together, and I've used almost half of this tin of cornflour, so it's quite amazing how much it does take. Okay, I gave this a bit of a trim because I had a bit of an idea, and I wanted to see if we can use this in, excuse the light, I turned my little light off and I haven't got it set back up. I wanted to see if we could use this in moulds. I found that a lot of the time when I'm working with silicone moulds, if I'm trying to take a, what's the word, an impression out of it, inlay from this, I've found that the matte moulds seem to work a bit better. Don't hold me to that, but that's what I've found. So what I'm going to do, I'm working this at the moment to warm it up a bit so it's a bit softer again, and I'm going to try and get it to make an inlay of this face. I've got going to use some silicone release spray on it and see if that is any good. So let's, fingers crossed. Give that a few seconds to just dry itself a little bit. Right, okay, so all I'm going to do is put that in there and just give it a squish inside. Hope there's no bubbles, and work that in and see what we get. And now I'm just going to leave these until tomorrow and see what they're like. So see you later. Okay guys, it's the next day. I left this overnight to cure just to give it a little bit of extra time. So it all seems to have set up quite well. It's nice and firm. So let's first of all try this. And it's doing exactly what I thought it would, and it's not stuck to this mould, which is great. So there we go. I do have a little bit of a bubble in some of these, but they don't really matter. I think they kind of look cute. It's still quite flexible. It's not obviously as flexible as the rest, but that's a cute little inlay kind of thing. So that worked, and it worked in the matte mould, so that's something exciting. So next, let's see if, oh yep, and it peels straight off the Teflon sheet. And the next thing, we'll see how these come out. Yep, they're coming out quite, I think it might still need a little bit more time to fully cure because it's quite chilly in the UK now. But they seem to be coming out quite well, and they've left quite a nice impression in the silicone, what should we call it, silicone paste, don't know what to call it, the silicone gooey stuff. So yeah, they're quite nice impressions. Okay, so there we go. That's those. Like I say, that's really come out really well. Now the next test also will be to see if it can hold, oh, what they called, chameleon powders or mica powders. But we'll give that a test as well. Gonna pop those inside here just to give them a wash later, as well as my mould. But so far so good. So I'm going to pop this in my curing machine for a bit, like I say, and it's still a little bit damp on the back. You see where it's been sitting on the mat. Oops. So we'll see, hopefully it will Oh, yeah, it will crack, look. There's a bit of a crack there. But I'm thinking that's probably where there was already a crack. So just be careful with it while it's at this stage. Okay guys, I'm just going to get the polyurethane resin weighed out. Don't need a lot for this project. So I'm just going to use a couple of little pots and then pour them into one of these and mix them up. Never mixed anything this small, so this will be interesting. So it's a 1-to-1 by weight. Again, I will say these have to be done by weight, as this, you get less liquid to the weight of this liquid. This with liquid, you get more liquid than that liquid. If you, oh, I hope you get what I mean. Okay, so we'll turn the scales on. This is where it gets very tedious because this is a very small tub. See what we get with 5 grams. Okay, so I'm going to mix up 5 grams. Don't know if it'll be enough, but we'll soon find out. Oh, sorry, I've just realised I haven't got the gloves on, one sec. That's better. Right, always make sure you clean the lip. If any spills over the lip on the threads of the bottle, because I discovered that if you don't, it can lock up your bottle, the lid, which took quite some effort and some help from somebody else for me to get them undone. So I won't be doing that again. So always clean your bottle lid, not lid, tops. Okay. So now we'll mix up part B. And again we'll just mix up 5 grams. This is very bubbly because this you have to shake it up. Oh gosh. Slightly over there. So we will some of that out. There we go. Okay, so now, again, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure if you can tell, but it's not so easy on these ones. But there is a lot less, well, there's less of this one than there is of that one in volume. So now let me just get pop some of these bubbles before we start mixing up. And the ones. Okay, so we'll pour that one in there first. Scrape as much out as you can into the pot. But before I start mixing in this one, I need to prepare the mould. So this has been in the curing machine now for an hour and a half, and it does seem a little bit better. That's what you can probably hear, is the curing machine being a bit noisy. Hopefully you won't be able to, but that's what it is if you can. So I thought I'd have a bit of a play with these Nick Pro chameleon powders that I bought recently from Amazon, as they were on, it was during the Black Friday or whenever it was. No, Amazon Prime Day. So I did buy the 8 set, and I bought the 16 because I didn't know if there were different colours, but turns out all these colours are in the, not the 16, 12 set. So I've got 2 lots of these ones, but it's fine. Need a brush now, can't remember where my brush is. Right there, looking at you silly. Brush, and then we need brush cleaning tub. And then what we'll do is we'll see if, let's just tick these out a second so we can see what colours we've got. Ooh, very nice. So that's purple, red, green. No, let's go with either copper, green. Yeah, we'll go with that one actually. Never mind those ones. Forget them. Pretty as they are, we'll go with red, green as their cogs and things. So it's a case of they'll look a bit like they've aged a bit. Ooh. Never seen them done up like this. That's really good. Nothing's coming out of there, so they're sealed all the way around the rim, which is really good. So all I've got to do now is get it off because I've got gloves on. Oh, there we go. Not entirely sure how this is going to take chameleon powders. That's why we're testing it, to see if they will. Okay, should pop that there. The brush, don't waste any. Too good to waste. And it appears to take them quite well. And just wipe the brush in there. And then brush is pretty much cleaned again now. There we go. So pop that aside a moment. And what we'll do is we'll mix this in here now. Oops a daisy. Doesn't matter if we get any mixed on the stirry stick because these will just be cleaned out. I'm not too bothered if they don't have any holes in them. I'm just testing this at the moment. Very overspilled, but it's just a test. They don't have to be perfect, do they? Okay, I'm going to let that cure up and we'll come back and see what it's like on the demould. Yeah, they've set up pretty well, so let's have a look, see how they came out, if they worked. It hasn't really done a very good job. Some of it has worked. See that one, there's little tiny bits of the silicone mould stuck inside. Same with that one. Some of them have worked. I think maybe it's not so great if you want to use it for really delicate things. Or maybe not use as much cornflower. It's worth a try. Like I say, some of them have come out quite nice. Yeah, because where the bits are getting stuck, that's going to basically leave that big hole in the mould now. I suppose it was worth a try. Obviously works better with resin, as resin is a harder substance. Oh, those come out quite cool though. But they're not terrible. Some have come out, and maybe the mould, the silicone's just not cured enough, maybe, I don't know. Oh, that one broke because it got an air bubble. But to be fair, oh, that's just blobs. But to be quite honest, they're not terrible. They're not great, but it'll be worth playing around with and seeing if it could be made. See, this will snip off easy enough around the edge. And you could even cut out those bits if you wanted to. These bits will pick out. It's just obviously where the mould was a little bit more delicate there, I guess. But I like them. I can use them. I'm not giving up. Maybe try it again with a less detailed something with less detail, and see if that does any better. That's actually the bibbly bit for that one. But yeah, they're not bad, but they are very, very matte. But to be fair, they weren't very shiny anyway, were they? Those two come out quite well. And I do love these little screw tops. So that's that. Haven't got a mould deep enough to try setting this in face down, and I'm not sure if it'll work anyway because it's quite heavy. But that was just a test to see if you could use it in on another mould. So not a complete fail, but not a complete what's it called? Not a complete success. So room for working on, and room for improvement maybe. I don't know. Maybe Daniel can have a play around and see if he can make it work better. Maybe I've done something that I've missed something and he'll be able to work it out. That's if he sees the video. But yeah, I'm quite happy with how they came out. I can, like I say, I can still trim around the edges, use them for something, and maybe see how this goes along after it's set around for a while and see what it does. Because I think you are supposed to leave it for 24 hours, aren't you? Thinking about it. But anyway, yeah. So thanks for watching. Sorry it didn't quite work out how I was hoping it would. But it is what it is. Experiments don't always work, do they? First time round. But I thought I'd share so that you can either work on it yourself and try some other ways, something else. And if you do, please share. We'd all like to know if you come up with something different. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Just a quick note, just to say, I tidied a few up, and they'll be usable, just trimmed out with a little pair of, one sec, these little cuticle cutters. Cuts through this stuff really easily, so shouldn't take too long to snip them up. So anyway, there we go. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.